So, Maya, we just
Yeah,
finished recording an interview with you and Dr. Tony Atwood,
yeah.
and your accent was British. What's up with that?
No, but it's so weird. It's I think it's because it's not my first language. I grew up watching mostly Danish television, of course, as a child, but also some American TV. So like I don't know, when I was fairly young, we didn't
Yeah,
have a whole lot of TV channels.
yeah,
And one of the things that was on were things like, Beverly Hills 90210 and things like that.
yeah.
And so even though I wasn't actually in the age bracket necessarily, I would still watch it.
Mhm.
And then I watched a lot of movies with my dad as well, and he always watched American movies, and also he played music, and it would always be English language, um, or most of it would be anyway. And then, so I learned
Mhm.
my accent before I knew how to speak the language.
Yeah,
I learned that kind of American, but like a generic American accent,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then, and then in school, um, I think in about sixth grade,
Mhm,
I had an English teacher, and she spoke with a British accent.
mhm.
And it was really important to her. Like she didn't bash that I used an American accent, but she was like, but she just always pronounced things in a British accent, and she kind of emphasized, because back then you had to write in your assignments as well if you were writing in American English
Yeah.
or in British English.
Interesting.
So because I was using American English, like I had to, I don't know, I had to always explain that, and I had to always
Should have just said Canadian because we mixed the two.
um yeah, but there's definitely going to be specific spellings, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but
Um
again, we use some British spellings and some Americanized spellings. So,
that's so funny though. Yeah, so I learned a little bit of the British accent then.
yeah.
And then I think because it's not my first language, it's just kind of, it's not as set,
Mhm,
how I speak,
mhm.
because I can't do it in Danish.
Yeah.
Like my Danish accent is what it is. And there are tons of different Danish accents as well. Um, and some of them are like wildly different to one
Yes.
another, despite the fact that it's such a small country.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous. Um, but so my Danish accent, I can't change it.
Interesting.
I
So it's
cannot.
only your English one that is a chameleon that
Exactly,
takes on
exactly.
whoever you're
And
talking to.
but what happens is that whenever I'm around someone,
Yeah.
I immediately like take on their accent. And
Tony's gone and you're back to, yeah,
yeah, exactly. It's
how you
and
sounded
it
me.
happens, it's like the flick of a switch. But I can force myself to put on the British accent. I
Yeah.
can force it. But the thing that happened with Tony specifically is that um back in 2014, I went to stay with him for a month. He had invited me to observe his clinical work,
Yeah.
which was a huge, huge honor.
Yes,
Like
of course.
I was like, I
Ah.
have to do this. I wasn't even studying psychology yet at the time.
Mhm.
I was kind of about to begin. It ended up being delayed another year, but that's a whole other story. But I went to stay with him for a month,
Yeah.
and I think the first couple of days I still had this accent,
Yeah.
and then it kind of started to slip. But the issue was that, um, so he's British and his wife is British, English specifically, but they live in Australia, and so his secretary speaks with Australian
Oh
accent,
my gosh.
right? So my English got completely confused, like, so confused.
Yes.
My accent was all over the place, especially because whenever I then spoke to my boyfriend, my now husband, he uses this kind of accent as well, like that generic
Yes.
American.
North
So
American.
yeah, so I would wake up with an American accent,
Mhm.
speak with an American accent whenever I spoke to my boyfriend, but then I would have kind of a British, kind of Australian accent
Oh
whenever I
my
spoke
gosh.
to Tony and his wife and everyone, like the colleagues surrounding that. And then I was doing a presentation for some of his colleagues at the um, I can never remember if it's the Minds and Hearts Clinic or the Hearts and Minds. I always flip the two. Um, but they have a clinic, him and Michelle Garnett. And I was doing a presentation there, and he kind of challenged me. He said that morning, like can you do an hour-long presentation in an Oxbridge accent? Like, can you actually do that? Um, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I can do that." And he
Yeah.
said, "No, no, 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 no."
Yeah.
He like didn't believe it because my
Yeah.
accent was all over the place, you
Yeah.
know.
And the
And
Oxford
fine.
accent is like the perfect RP,
The
pretty much.
Oxbridge accent
Okay.
is very, very proper.
Yeah.
It's kind of I don't like to make this reference, of course, but it's the Hermione Granger accent.
Yes.
It's that accent.
Mhm.
It's very proper. Very, they call it the Oxbridge accent because it's the university accent. Oxford and Cambridge. Oxbridge.
Ah,
Yeah. Yes. So
yes.
that's where it comes from. And so he challenged me to do an entire hour-long presentation using this accent. And I did. And he couldn't believe it.
Yes.
So like I can force it when I have to,
Yeah.
but then because I spent that month with Tony, and my Oxbridge accent got so trained,
Mhm.
um, it's become kind of a weird mix so that now when I talk to him, see, it's just
Yeah, you're going in and out now 'cause
um no, but it's I automatically flip
yes.
into something closer to his accent.
Yes.
And for some reason, I think because the like American one is so ingrained,
Mhm.
sometimes it'll slip and then it becomes a little bit Irish because when you
Mm.
mix the two,
Yes, yes. The
it
flattening, yeah.
yeah, it becomes almost a little
Yeah.
bit Irish. So
I love that.
it my accent is complete confusion
Yeah,
and
yeah. Chaos.
because of that.
Chaotic good. Uh,
It
I
feels
al
so stupid. It feels disingenuous though,
but
because I'm
it's
so
like
worried about offending people.
it's so automatic though for you.
Mhm.
Actually, I do remember so before I met you, when I heard him speak at the convention that I talked about earlier in
Mm,
2014, it might have been 2016. It was one of those.
mm.
He he not only did he talk about energy accounting, but he was also like, and she can do the perfect accent. Like he talked about your accent chameleon nature.
Yeah,
Where you go, you pick up the accents.
yeah. No, but it only happens with those 2 because
Yeah.
when I'm in Ireland, it just gets completely wonky.
Let's see what happens when we're in Dublin in September.
I know, I'm dreading it.
Oh
I'm
my
dreading it
gosh.
a little bit because
I'm not.
I'm gonna be around you.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna have, I always wake up with an American accent
yeah,
because
yeah,
that's the default.
yeah,
But then but then when there's lots of people speaking with an Irish accent around
yeah.
me,
Oh
oh, no, no, it's so like, I'm embarrassed by it.
I'm gonna tease you, but I will be I will be kind about
No,
it.
I know
Yeah.
it'll be loving when it comes from you, but
Yes, yes.
I'm so worried about offending people, and
Just explain, like, you can't control it. It's almost like echolalia in a way, you know?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
this beautiful, like, I don't know, you take on the sounds, you repeat the sounds.
maybe it's got to do with that, yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that. You
Every once in a while, I got an idea. Yeah.
when no, it's
Yeah.
whenever we talk, something comes up and it's like, "Wait."
Ah. Yeah. All right.
No, yeah,
Well,
maybe it's got an aspect of that. Hmm, well,
there we go. Well, I'm
yeah,
gonna get to bed because it is now
it
4:14
is.
a.m. and
Oh my god,
I
I
I
kept
love
you up
you.
all
Mwah.
night. Mwah!
Bye.